Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. I'm Ignalina and today I'm here with a video everything I wore from my handmade wardrobe last year in 2024. I'm filming this a little bit late, it's already February, but I thought, for a statistical video, it doesn't matter when I'm doing it, when I'm talking about it. I thought that it will be fun, at least for me, when I'm watching all these creators that they made in a year, what they're keeping, talking about their favorite things, and I'm thinking, what do you actually wear? What do you actually enjoy? Is it, that favorite item for now, or you wear a lot of years later too? So I thought that it would be interesting, to, to be curious about my wearing habits too. And I also enjoy watching videos like people, more maybe stylish people who do those videos, what they wear from their wardrobe, or I try wearing everything from my wardrobe and using, I think nowadays it is like index statistics. So I used to track my types of wear on the app called, I think, Smart Closet. I don't know how many years ago I got idea from one creator to track my wardrobe, but she was using iPhone, I use Android, so I downloaded maybe 5 Android apps and I deleted most of them until I found the one where I enjoy uploading photos that I was able to erase background, which gave more cleaner look, even if the lighting, other capabilities weren't the best. Then I enjoyed, my requirements were, of course, put trackers every day on the calendar, what I'm wearing, and to see counts, how much item was worn, and cost per wear. But it rounds up to like $1, and I think I cannot change that. This is just dollars. So it rounds up to like $1. So if it is 1.4 or 0.6, it doesn't show. And I think with the smaller numbers, it would be quite interesting to see not rounded up numbers too. At least it can be rounded up to the cents, not to the full dollar. And yeah, there is functionality issues, not issues, but wishes. So if I would create it for myself, what I would do differently. I'm a software engineer, but I'm not recreating the apps. It just takes way too much time. And it works, it does the basics, and there's a lot of functionality I'm not using. And I was once downloaded Index because I was curious about it, but I think some of the statistics are behind payroll and they didn't have some functionality I was looking for at that time. Maybe they already introduced because they were quickly developing. So yeah, it's everyone's choices. So I marked every time what I wear on that app, and I made a conscious decision for 2024 to mark at least what I'm wearing from my handmade wardrobe. I'm not tracking that well all other items in the wardrobe. It is pain in the ass to upload all the pictures and clean them, and yeah, especially if they're older items. I found out that if there is new items, even if you buy in store, you can go to online web shop and usually find pictures for that items you just bought, so just way easier to add it because you just download the picture and upload it to the app. But taking yourself pictures, it takes time. So I'm using that, and then I actually went back and note everything on my notebook, like tally counts, because I cannot filter by the year how many counts wears I had in that year. And I knew that before I was not tracking that carefully. So for some items which were longer in my wardrobe, I still don't have, really good counting. And I'm continuing for this year, so hopefully this will become a tradition. So I have statistics, I prepare some graphs to illustrate, but I think we should start with the items in my wardrobe. So I know, not statistically speaking, I was creating from making my own wardrobe items from 2022. So it was 3 years of making, and I have currently 19 items in my wardrobe and one item socks were gifted, so they were not made by me, and I think I was not counting how many times I wore them last year. I started this year. So yeah, let's bring the items and talk a little bit about them, and then statistics. Okay, these are all items in my handmade wardrobe. I will try to go quickly through them and say how many times I wore it, a few maybe sentences. If there are some statistics, I will show them. All my knit items are in Ravelry, all my sewn items. I improvise a lot, so there's probably not so much I can share about them. But this is my corset top and circle skirt. I sewed them, I think, in 2023. Yes, in 2023. And I wore corset top only 2 times and skirt 6 times. I feel like corset top, and I always had an idea then to sew a more maybe with fancy fabrics, with maybe tulle fabrics, with maybe sheer, with like sky blue, like with a few sprinkles. With maybe more exciting fabrics, but I never done it. And it's really nice, but at the same time I don't feel wearing that elegant in it, and at the same time I feel like it looks good but not that good, and I really overthinking it and not wearing them a lot. And I feel like skirt I was also wearing more around the house than going out. So they are useful items but not wear too much. Then this dress, I'm pretty sure I wore it only once. It is my linen viscose dress. Yeah, I forgot the pattern name. I sewed from the pattern. It is really nice linen in summer times and it's really hot. It is really useful. I wore it only once. I think it gets really wrinkly quite quickly, so it's not the best maybe for traveling because it doesn't look really polished. But I love it. I am keeping it. For sure. It's not like declutter, but at the same time, if I wore it only once, in a way I have to sort of see if it is actually the best thing to keep it. Then this is the dress, and behind it on the same hanger is the shorts. I really hate how shorts look like. This is made in 2024. At around the time I already learned that even if I enjoy buying more fancy fabrics or colorful fabrics, I enjoy wearing single color clothes more. So yeah, this is special fabric. This is modified rosary apparel, I think rosy dress pattern. I made sweetheart neckline. I used the sleeves. All my dress has pockets, all of them. I'm not discriminate. And I was surprised, but also not surprised, that I wore this, if I'm not mistaken, 11 times. I love this dress. It looks good. I enjoy wearing it. And I live in Norway, so the climate here, it's cold and summers are not as summery. So this was one of the reasons for this dress, long sleeve, really warm. This is flannel, so it's warm cotton fabric. A lot of pajamas are made from this fabric. Warm pajamas. I don't know how to pronounce, I'm really sorry. So yeah, I bought it, and it is totally inspired by Rosary Pearl, but I think her skirt was supposed to be gathered. I just done 270 degrees. I really enjoy the skirt. Long sleeves, so I could wear it, and I was surprised how much time I wore it, because I cannot wear it in autumn time. It is too springish, too summery, and I wore it 9 times, and all of them I think were in the first half of the year. So that was really nice. And then I think we are coming to the place. This is made from leftover fabric from my first ever dress, coming up next. And I think I will have to get rid of it. I didn't wear it this year, and I didn't wear it because I put it to fixed pile, because the shirring was, getting undone, but the shirring was pain in the ass to do with my sewing machine. My sewing machine was gifted by my friend. It was her old cheap sewing machine, and it works fine. I sew a lot of wonderful things, but with the shirring it was really snappy and not really nice. It was Shirring it takes a lot of time, and the sewing machine was making it even more difficult. So I have no wish to fix it. I think the whole year it was hanging for like fixed pile, and I didn't wear it. And and I remember, I think it was from leftover fabric, so it was a bit maybe too short than I like, and those sleeves were falling down, not holding up enough, and probably now, since they're hanging, could be that elastic is not elasticy anymore. Do you have some elasticity left? Yeah, I think this one will be, I should say goodbye when I'm moving into the new place. Not probably not fixing and not wearing it. So my first ever dress, I call it Zizi dress, and that was my crazy approach. You know, how hard can it be? And as I said, I had that Rosary Apparel's dress pattern printed out, and then I decided to do for my first dress, you know, how hard can it be to change into princess seams on the front and the back, and you know, make it, you know, really flowy flowy, and yeah, but I really love this dress. The only thing I don't love is the beige color, and when I was buying fabric I wanted the small blue flowers, but I didn't find a beautiful fabric I would enjoyed. But I found this one, and I thought, oh, it's so natural, it's so beautiful, but I think that it washes me out. I'm thinking for this dress maybe try to dye it rusty color. I wore it 6 times, I think, and every time I put it on, it just, I don't know, so comfortable, so nice, so just like I don't need to think about it, and it just hugs my figure in the right way. So this is totally a winner, and really nice one. But I wore it, as I said, I think 6 times. Yes, way more than I expected, but way less than maybe it deserves. And I think I started wearing it in less official occasions, like not taking it on holidays, wearing around the house, or etc. It's nothing wrong about wearing your dresses around the house. It's quite fun too. So the next item in my pack is my second skirt. This is woolen skirt, one of the last things I made last year, and it was worn I think 8 times, and I think probably I already wore it this year too. It's really beautiful. I think it's really nice, really good for the office, but at the same time has, you know, flowiness and fun from being a circle skirt, and really useful in this climate. And then I think it's mostly starts my knitting. So this was my Icelandic sweater, and this is the top winner of how many times I wore it last year. It has 35 wears. It became that sweater I'm not too precious. Of course it is precious because it's my memories from Iceland. I bought the yarn from it. It is Let Lopi, Icelandic yarn, Icelandic design, free design of Meli, 20 years anniversary. But it's also, I don't think that beige color suits me nice, but I think the dark colors maybe bring it a little bit better. I'm not going to redye it. I'll probably wear it years and years until it falls apart, and I really believe that it can survive. This is one of the reasons why I was not afraid of wearing it, and it became like sweatshirt. I even wore it in midsummer days around, I don't know, July 24. It was cold enough in Norway, and we were a bit in the mountains too, to put it on, and then if I'm too hot, take it off, and I immediately was cold enough, so put it on again. So even in summertime, living in Nordics, it's possible to put it on, really useful. And as I said, it's not my precious, so I was really able to get a good use out of the sweater. And then I had really a lot of fabric left over, since one of my first yarn purchases, have no idea how much I needed. So I knitted a second similar sweater, but with horses. I really love it. The body shaping on this became really good. It fits me so nicely, so beautiful. But I finished it in 2024. in the second half of the year, and I wore it for 14 times. And since it is more fitted, I feel like it's less, a little bit maybe more formal, or I have to like wear it outside. And it is my horses, so I feel like I should be really precious. But yet again, I'm not feeling that precious. I really wanted to take a photo with horses with this sweater. Did I ever took a photo with this sweater? I don't think. Did I? I don't think so. Did I found a sweater in my wardrobe? I never took a photo of it, even if I wore it already 40 times at least since I finished it, and then question mark if I wore it this year. Then I have two last pieces of my sewn objects, which are shorts and pants, linen pants. I didn't wear them this year, but I'm not gonna to get rid of it because the pants, linen pants, were so good in the heat wave when I was visiting my family in Lithuania. They were so breezy, so nice in, I don't know, 36 degrees of Celsius, getting closer to 100-ish Fahrenheit. But they are really not elegant. And this is why they're not the most worn, and the zipper is really not hidden. It's an accent, even if it is flap. This was my first pair ever, and the wide leg, I feel it's not flowy enough to be elegant. It's just a bit maybe too structured. So I really like them practicality-wise, but I really hate them maybe visual-wise. So I'm keeping them. I think they are a really amazing pair of pants for heat wave purposes, and the heat wave you want something. So I decided that they're too useful to throw them out, but not elegant enough to wear them often. And then I feel like my shorts zipper insertion was way better this time, but I hate shorts even more. But I'm keeping them because I was thinking maybe I will live in a house. We are moving now this year, and then moving yet again. So it may become true. It's not totally like in 5 years we may move out and I may have them like maybe in the house, but I felt like it bit goes to the ass too much, so it's uncomfortable. I'm always fixing. I also have a chub rub, and usually they just ride up and don't help with that a lot in this length, so they are not as useful as the pants, and they, as I said, a bit too uncomfortable, and I have to fix them often. But at the same time, I feel like nobody would wear it because nobody has my similar to me body shaping, and I made them and they are not that well made for anyone else to use, so I'm just keeping them just to wear it, as I said, in the garden, sit on the grass and don't care about it, because they really also breezy and good for summer lights. Then in category, I didn't calculate it how many times they were worn, are the socks. They were gifted. They're beautiful socks, nicely made. Yeah, wear it every time when my feet are cold because they are the only woolen socks I have at this moment. I want a knit pair of myself, maybe more elegant in fingering weight, so they would be more elegant to wear. And then the only other second small item, or accessories, but I don't know how hats and socks can be like accessories when they are just mandatory clothing living in the cold climate. They're just as useful as a sweater because you need to warm. They are not for just, I don't know, accessorizing purposes. They are useful. So this one is hold together mohair and I think alpaca yarn, and it is a bit too scratchy. Not too scratchy, it's a bit on the scratchy side on my head, but on the body as a sweater this yarn is really perfect. But I still wore it. I finished it this year and I wore it 8 times. I was even surprised that I wore it that much, because it's not. When I first put it on, I could feel it, but I could wear it and I could forget it, unless I think I'm getting warm with a mohair. Then you're getting warm, heat it up, it doesn't, as nice, and when you called it, this is better. So I feel it's on the edge of being wearable. My head is quite sensitive, but my body is not. So this is on the edge. And about my all knitted items, if you need more information, I have a Ravelry where I have yarns, yardages, yeah, all that information, so you can check it out. I'm not seeing, and it could be that in description below I won't have time, not time, but space, because you have, I think, only 5,000 characters limit there, and there's quite a lot of things. So yeah, my winter wave sweater, white one, my precious one, and I finished it in 2023, so I have a lot of time to wear this, and I was surprised how much time I put it on in the beginning of the year, because I'm afraid of wearing this. As I said, with my Icelandic sweaters, I'm not afraid. I feel like they can, survive a lot, but this sweater, I was afraid that it cannot survive a lot, especially no curry eating around the sweater, no beetroot soups or salads around the sweater. It's precious. It's white, and I'm clumsy usually. It can totally get damaged, so I feel like I am a bit tense around wearing this sweater. I feel like I cannot it's precious. I'm afraid of ruining it, and I wore it 30 times. So it was a bit more than I expected, but at the same time I feel like it is, if it is precious, it should be also be worn. Otherwise it just gets reduced to, category where you don't wear it at all. This is totally different category than precious. This is Fay Top, I think, Garner's design. Yeah, and this was from the cheap yarn, 75% wool, 25% polyester, and I felt like it became like a little bit of like pilling. But now when I'm thinking that how much time I wore this, it's not, or I don't think that I depilled it. So it's keeping up way better than I expected, but it is not my precious. I feel like it's almost cheap yarn, and it was bottom up knitted, and I bought a kit for my size, and I was quite scared of making a long sleeve, because I think with the long sleeves I would wear it more. So all the time I wore this, it's only in the summertime because it's too cold. Other times around the year, and I wore it 25 times. So this was my second most worn item, and because it wasn't my precious, I was not precious about keeping it precise. So if we were going on the hikes or whatever, just throwing something warmish on when I need it, it was just that kind of layer. In a way, yes, it gets more worn if I'm not precious about it. And then it is the summer top. I wore it five or six times. Let me see, 5 times. So I wore this top 5 times, and it's also really nice segment into the way what is not in my pile. Since it was from the frogged yarn and I reknit it, first time I crocheted a top, and when I bought this and I improvised it, so Orianity, my improvisation, I learned all the edgings on this. High cord, folded hem, peacock edge. I think that peacock edge is too much for me. If I would fix this, I would change maybe peacock edge and maybe add some length. But I think that I need to wear it more and see and remember how I'm feeling, because it was more than a half year ago the last time I wore this. And before this top, this yarn was crocheted into the top. I bought it some yarn and started crocheting a top, and it's supposed to have really fluffy balloony sleeves. And then my mom saw it and said, no, your shoulders are too well pronounced. It won't look good on you. Don't do this. Don't do this. It will look you bulky, blah, blah, blah. And I listened to her, and I knitted just I crocheted a simple top, and I hated how. Not hated, but it was too short, I felt, and was unsure about the sleeve cut. It was a bit awkward for me. I felt like, yeah. So I frogged it and reknitted it. Yet what is also easier with crochet knitted items that I feel like I can maybe give it away more or fix it more. Oh, I didn't talk about this one. So this one was worn 14 times. also made last year. I think one of the last items I made for myself. So let's go to the statistics. By statistics, I have less knits than sewn items in my closet. I have 42% or 8 items knitted, and almost 58% or 11 items sewed in my wardrobe. In my wardrobe by categories, I have 4 dresses, 4 sweaters, 4 tops, 2 skirts, 3 bottoms, and 2 small items. In the future, I'm hoping to have more small items, or actually I will have, because I already finished one hat, I'm finishing the scarf, and I really want to knit myself socks this year. So that will increase. And do I have wear by categories? That is interesting statistics. We can see, what I wear the most, and maybe I should increase the count. Then another thing I found, it would be really interesting to see how many items I made which year. So what was interesting, and I was a really huge creating slump for almost half a year of 2024, most of my items, around half of them, were made in 2023. I have only a few items made in 2022. That was my first year of creating, so of course, as I said, maybe not as good quality, and some sweaters I decided to give it away. It took me, at the beginning of creating journey, longer time maybe to knit those items, and then I was not keeping that much. So I guess now it's so funny to see that 2023 were the most creative year. Then I made, it was interesting for me also to see by colors what from my handmade wardrobe, which is really interesting because I see 3 categories in the top space: beige, brown, and pink. And this also was pink. And actually, I don't like pink that much. I really think, for me, I'm not trash talking for others, but I really don't like on myself to see too much on myself, surround myself with that Barbie pink. That is, for me, it's ugly color, that bright pink. I don't like it. And I also don't like neon green. And I feel like I never owned brown clothing before I started knitting, because somehow I thought that it would fit me nice. And this yarn was gifted by my aunt. She done something for herself, and then she decided that she doesn't want the yarn anymore, and she stopped knitting, crocheting, so she gave it to me. So one of those, then I thought that brown will be really, classical, nice color. So I feel like it was way more brownish, and blue is not as dominant as maybe it should be. That has always was my favorite color, and my mom says that navy blue looks really good on me. And I don't have a navy blue sweater yet. I also really want like forest green and reds to see in this diagram. So it's quite strange for me that, that one of the most popular color became pink. But I also think that especially that pink looks quite good on me too. So I don't know. But beige, I think I will have to say goodbye to it because I don't think it looks. It is not that much as it looks good on me or not, but how I feel also in those clothes. Do I feel good or not? And I feel like for this color, I was also, when I was buying yarn, I was in really orangey, yellowish lit yarn shop. So I was thinking that it will be more peachy, but it is more like cool toned pink. And I'm not the biggest fan, but yet again, it's really fun. It's really summery. I am not too angry about that color too. Moving on to talk about times worn by item type. So by all clothing categories, what I wore the most. So I wore sweaters. Almost 50% of the times I wore an item, it was a sweater, which I have only 4 sweaters in this category, and also 4 dresses. And dresses, not even, I was wearing 20 times, and I really love dresses. I'm not getting rid of my dresses. I love them. but on my climate, how often I wear. And this is why I really wanted that cardigan, which I have to reknit it. I really wanted to wear them with my dresses, so I could wear them a bit longer on more chillier weather too, and not only on them own. My also small item count is so only headband count is really small because I didn't calculate it how many times I wore the socks, and only one headband which was finished late by year. It didn't grow that much use. And my skirts, I think the skirt category by where I would say grows, but where to grow because it's distribution between those categories. Skirts, I think that black one will get a lot of use, and that another circle one with corsety top, I don't think that it will be that much use, but it probably in summertime I wear it around the house. I really like twirling in it because it's so flowy. But yeah, probably will not grow that much. I don't know. I am not planning to sew a lot of skirts in the future. Maybe with a really beautiful combination like wedding guest appropriate like corset top and the skirt. So all of it, because I think it is more practical to make it as a separate two pieces and then wear it as a dress, as a combo, and then you can also wear it standalone. So maybe I will make more skirts in the future, but I'm not planning in the near. And then I wear my tops only 20% of the time, and yeah, I'm not wearing my tops because they are, oh, okay, I wore it more, but I guess this top, sweatery top, was hyping up the numbers because it was my second most worn thing. Because I think tops, sweaters, and dresses were each 4 in each category. So this is interesting thing to see. And what is even more crazy is to see times worn by a crafting type. So how much I wore my sewn objects in comparison with knit objects. So I wore sewn objects almost less than 30% of the time. So more than 2/3 of the times when I was grabbing it, I am wearing knitted items, which is not surprising. As I said, Scandinavia, Norway, I need my sweaters. And I think it's quite reflecting of what I'm planning and what I'm doing in the nearest future with my wardrobe and creating, that I stopped sewing almost and I is now focusing more on knitting, but we also in the moving process, so I am not focusing that much on hobbies too. And I think this is also why I am having knitting podcasts and don't film sewing. I know sew with me videos, because I also enjoy knitting more and it is way more practical to me. I wear it more and it takes longer, but it also for me it's more relaxing because with the sewing I expect it to be quick project and then it takes days. And then I get annoyed that it takes days and I'm rushing and I'm feeling why it is so hard. When to knit a sweater, it takes me a month and I just, oh, okay, I'm just watching TV and I'm knitting and I'm happy and I'm more patient with knitting than with sewing, which is also strange, but it's fair. And I think it's shown by times worn by crafting type. And I want to remind you that I have way more sewn items, but I wear it more. And also I noticed that this year, in the last few months, I started thinking more that before I was thinking, ooh, what if every item in my wardrobe would be handmade? And now I'm starting to leaning to that I don't have to learn how to sew, underwear or bras or whatever. I can buy them and, this is my hobby. It doesn't have to become all or nothing. So I feel like few years ago I was more leaning, and I have to learn how to sew pants, I needed to learn how to sew everything and just be self-sufficient, and it so would be awesome to wear everything. I made only what I made, and just now I'm just maybe at this point of the life I'm just, yeah, it is how it is. I am fine with it, I'm having fun with it, and that's the most important thing, to have fun. And the last category was also, how many times I was worn the items by finished year. I thought it was just fun jumping in. So of course I was wearing the least items I have is for 2022, and I think the most items from that time are sewn objects. So of course they're the lower percentage than what from all of those categories. And I see that I think almost half of my wardrobe was from 2023, but I wore those items more. I think in a way 2024 may be losing. Is it losing this fight against? Oh, why they didn't write the percentage? I think the orange color is quite similar. But 2024 items, of course, are the newest, maybe the ones I was waiting for them more, and I guess maybe with time it's more quality, hopefully, items, so they were worn quite a lot too. And of course 2023 had the whole year, they were already made. I was able to wear those, and they are majority of my items. So I don't know, is it anything else I could add? I think I could add from my notes, because I didn't do everything on. I first used the app, then I tally all the numbers on the paper, and then I used Google Docs sheets to make some graphs and designs. So it was on 3 different places I was doing all my statistics. But what was also interesting to see that from my 11 sewed items, I had only 43 wears, and it was around only 6 times per each item, and 4 times if I divide the number by items I also not ever worn. And I think there were 4 items from sewed category which were not worn at all, and all my knitted items were worn this year, and I worn my knits 114 times, and so it is rounds up around 16 times for each item. So in comparison, 6 times for sewn items, 16 times for knitted item. I'm totally wearing way more knitted items. And yeah, I'm unsure. Should I try to say something more or not? But I think maybe it's enough. So I think that's it with statistics. It was really interesting to collect this data. It was interesting to go through it. I hope it was interesting for you to also watch it. And I hope to see you next time. Bye!